Hey, so I'm sitting here this morning and I'm wondering, what do you do when somebody's name randomly pops up in your mind, randomly pops up on your heart? You're driving somewhere, you're just sitting watching a movie, sitting watching a series. I know in my life, normally people go, oh, somebody's gossiping about me again. Iemand skinder 'n bietjie oor my. And the interesting thing that I found is the space I find myself in now is often when this happens, there's either one of two ways that this occurs. Now, this could be somebody that you spoke about or spoke to earlier that day, just the other day. It could be somebody you haven't spoke to in years. Who knows? So, one of two ways that I'm personally experiencing this lately is when you're driving, this name pops up, and it's either I have no idea what's happening, what's this about, why am I thinking of this person now? This is weird. Or there's an actual direct instruction almost that comes right with it. It's reach out to that person, give them a phone call, and it'll be an exact thing. I'm telling you, it's not maybe I should. It's phone them, message them, send them a voice note. Generally, one of those three at the moment. If it's one of those, then you do that. I normally just go, I'll send them a voice note often, but as I said, it depends on which one. Sometimes I do phone. And normally it will go something like, hey dude, your name popped up in my head for some reason, or hey girl, whatever. Your name just popped up. I'm phoning you, I'm just checking in. I hope everything's good. How are you doing? Are you well? I have no idea, but I just felt like phoning you. Something like that. And then it's been phenomenal, the kind of stuff that actually comes out of that. And if it's the other one where I don't know why, I generally just pray over it, and I pray for that person. And as soon as I start praying, sometimes I feel the Holy Spirit start pointing out particular things that he wants me to pray for, and I just pray for that person. And then if an instruction follows when I'm done praying, goes, okay, phone the person now, then I'll phone the person. God loves this form of obedience, and we have absolutely no idea the power of prayer and the power of checking in, what it actually has. So God reveals more during the prayer, and he reveals when you act on it as well, because as soon as you have feedback from that person, stuff happens. Okay, but now let's go on further. What if somebody pops up and it's somebody you don't like? What if it's somebody that you know for a fact doesn't like you? What does that change, Jean? It changes absolutely nothing. God isn't picky, my friend. He doesn't tell you, listen, I'm only going to make you pray for the people you like. God just loves everybody. You must love everybody as I have loved you, Jesus said. So it doesn't point out particular people. It doesn't exclude people from loving. So you do exactly the same thing. And you will never actually know, even in that. Maybe God changes your heart toward that person that you don't like or doesn't like you, and because inevitably that is what we need. We need to not think badly about others when we think about them. Because generally there's a misunderstanding, or there's a sort of a clash, or who knows what it is. Could be a spiritual thing, the God in you is bigger than the enemy outside. And if there's things in the other person that is holding them in a place, then the God in you is going to make it uncomfortable. It's going to happen. So it's either maybe there's something even in you that needs a bit of working on, So God's going to fix it, my friend. He's going to change this stuff. So in that reaching out, maybe your whole relationship with that person can change. We don't know. You don't know. But just listen to the Lord, my friend. Look at the Lord, pray, and act upon it. Remember, I never said it's going to be easy. This stuff isn't easy. It costs sacrifice and obedience. Now, sacrifice costs you stuff. But if it didn't cost you anything, it wouldn't mean anything. So just reach out. But the power of checking in on friends is crazy, because you don't know what they're dealing with. It could be mental fights that they're dealing with, challenges, struggles, thoughts going through their mind. Some people literally sitting at the end of their life. I've had a few incidents recently where I'll just drive somewhere and somebody's name pops up and I'll check in. And the feedback I've had. I had one last night actually about a friend who had a massive spiritual war yesterday going on in their lives. But fortunately, the like-minded people she had around her was able to fight this fight. And they had a long battle, but she was just mugh. And I just got a response of, thank you so much for checking in. I just needed somebody to check in. I'm doing great. I'm doing well. I had victory today over X. But I just needed somebody to check in. And I just thought, I haven't heard from them the day, and I was expecting to hear from them. So let me just check in and see what's happening. Are they good? Is everything all right? And this massive thing came out of that. It's crazy. It's ridiculous how God works, So I actually want to have a few verses today that can go with this. Ecclesiastes 4 is the only one that stood out like a sore thumb to me when it got to it, because it says, two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if while they fall, one will lift up his companion. But the Bible warns us here. It says, woe to him who is alone when he falls, for he has no one to help him up. So, that's why two is better than one, because if you trip and fall, your mate can help you up, your friend can pick you up, they can help you up. But if you're alone, you see, so it literally says it over there. It's actually quite powerful. But then also the other verses that I found that really that works for me with this is loving toward one another. That's what this goes on. Hebrews 13:6 says, but do not forget to do good and to share, for with such sacrifices God is well pleased. So it does cost sacrifice to reach out to your friend. It does cost sacrifice to share with your friends. And it's about giving, because a lot of the times the things that a lot of us struggle with is shortcomings. We need something for something. We need this to be able to pay that. We need this to be able to do this, which is not wants that we need to do. It's needs. It's something we have to do. Sometimes it's even life and death sort of things even, Galatians 6:10 says, therefore, as we have the opportunity, let us do good to all. You see that again here. It doesn't specify don't do good to the people you don't like. It says do good to all. But it does add, especially to those who are of the household of God. So we must do good to everyone. And I like to say, as we have the opportunity, because we know exactly when the opportunities arise. I've felt this in my daily goings, when you go and you feel like, oh, this, and like, no, I'm not going to give to this guy. I don't know, this is wrong. And then 5 minutes later, as you go on, you're sitting there going, and then you start feeling bad about it. It's a different kind of bad. Look, we can't give to everybody, but that's why it's so important that we learn and listen to the voice of God in all this, Luke 6 here actually also says, give to everyone who asks of you, and from him who takes away from your goods, do not ask them back. Right? Proverbs 3:27 says, do not withhold good from those from whom it is due, when it is in the power of your hand to do so. So don't withhold good if it's due to them. People always say give credit where credit is due. Give credit where credit is due, especially if it is in the power of your hand to do so. So do it when you can do it. Oh man, this is so good. Sometimes we overthink things. We just, in a moment we know, and people always say trust your gut feeling, and trust it. If it was wrong afterwards, then it's a lesson learned. It's not something that will return void. You're gonna learn something out of it, 1 John 3:17 says, if anyone has material possessions and sees a brother or sister in need, but has no pity on them, how can the love of God be in that person? How powerful is that? How can God's love be in you if you see the need and you don't act on the need? But you can. It's in your hand. You have it. You have the capability of helping this person, but you don't. Proverbs 27 verse 17 speaks about when one brother sharpens another. The New King James says, as iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. Now this word countenance I had to quickly go check out, because it's actually quite interesting that it talks about it means a person's face or facial expression. It's admitting or admit something as acceptable or possible, or it shows support or approval. So there's a wide variety of what it means here, but I like this facial expression bit, because your face explains everything of how you are, how you feel, how you're doing. So sharpen your friend, and we need to be stern with each other. We need to talk to one another and go, hey chum, that wasn't lekker, but have that teachable attitude, especially toward your friend, So, yeah, there's so much. I know it's a lot today, but it's so important for you to check in on your friends, check in on your family member. Be obedient to when that name oddly pops up in your mind, in your heart. Pray for them. Reach out. Pick up the phone them. Send them a message. Send them a voice note. They'll get to it when they need to get to it. Pray. That's all we do. God rewards our obedience and our sacrifice. And He loves you, my friend, for doing that as well. And in that, you are going to grow.